Welcome back, folks, to Let's Replay Albion. And when last we left off, Sira is now level 12. And so is Drer. And so is Reyna. And Tom is level 14. Indeed, we've done a lot of grinding, going around the area around Girona and fighting all of the monsters there. And we've not only got level 12 on all the characters except Tom, we also have a lot of training points, and we also have a fair amount more money, because all of the stuff that we got from the animals, we've sold. Some of that money was offset by buying more arrows, but still a little bit more money. You'll also notice that Sira has 55 potions, Drer 35, Reyna just 30, and Tom 60. This is so that we can sell these in the next location we go to. But for now, we're going to do some weapon training, because this is the last place that you can train long-range combat. Not that Tom is going to train in long-range combat, but that we're going to get all the advantage that we can before we move on. This is actually probably going to make Sira quite the long-range monster in terms of her skill. It's going to be quite impressive. An interesting point now is that I think Reyna will need to train some close-range skill as well, because long range is going to cap out after 2 points. Cap out at 40, which is a fair thing to point out, but still, it is capped out. The only way that'll improve is if we get items that improve it, like for instance the pistol. But for now, we're going to use the rest of these points on close range. We're not anywhere yet that we can learn anything else. There is the opportunity to learn things like lockpick and critical hit as well later, but right now we don't have that choice. And so that's Reyna dealt with. Now we're going to get Drer some close quarter training. With this training, by the way, Drer is going to become a close combat monster, in the sense that his skill is going to be extraordinarily high. That, by the way, is with the fact that the armor that Drer is using inhibits his ability to fight. Even with that, it's still going to be fantastically high. I mean, imagine if Drer wasn't wearing that armor. Also, a few things to note while I was doing all of this various grinding. I noticed, like, small little things, like, at different times of day, the House of the Winds is the desk is manned by somebody different, which I found quite interesting. And so let's have a look at these skills here. As you can see, Sira has 40 out of 50 close range, in part because of the dagger, but 61 out of 70 long range is amazing. And Drer has 86 out of 99 close range combat, with 2 attacks around that Drer gets when he gets to level 10. That makes Drer a monster up close. Reyna has the maximum of 40 out of 40 long range, and 29 out of 40 close range. Reyna is soon going to reach his peak of skill there, and Tom has 64 out of 80 close range, which isn't that bad at all. So let's now go and do the last thing we need to do, which is learn a lot of spells. There's nothing else really that we need to do at this point. Once we've learned all the spells that Sira can learn, that's pretty much it for Girona in general, and we will be moving on. So let's go. I think we can learn every single spell except one, which requires you to get to level 15. We're going to learn that spell later. For now, we're going to go up here and see what we can do. There we go. We'd like to learn some spells, like Thorn Snare and Hurry. We'd also like to learn Frost Avalanche. We'd also like to learn Blinding Storm, and I think that might be everything. Also, a thing to note is that while travelling around, some spells were cast. Mainly, I think the healing spell is now pretty much maximised. Yeah, light healing is maximised. A few of the others haven't really been used that much. They will be. They will be used over time, that is. The next area we go to is going to have a lot of opportunities for us to fight. So, let's move on. And to leave here, we have to go to the main building, the council building, and talk to the Sabinar. The game will not continue until then. There is no time limit at this point, so we could spend as long as we like here. But we do sort of have to get to the Toronto and stop that mining operation. The door is shut, but never locked. Let's go and say hello, shall we? To Sarimar, my human friends. Well, Tom, are you ready for your journey? The ship is ready for you. Yes, Sabinar Janice. I think we have to leave your beautiful city. So you want to go? I hope that in spite of the sad accident with Akia, you have a good impression of Girona. We've experienced a lot, and your people no longer appear as alien to me as they did a short time ago. It is hard for me to say goodbye, so I think we better go right away. Your words make me glad, Tom Driscoll. Now I will have someone take you to your ship, and I wish you a good and successful journey. Janice accompanies Tom and her companions to the harbour, where a ship is already waiting. I'm not sure if her is the right word there, unless it's Janice's companions that she came along to the boat with, but if that's in reference to Tom and his companions, that is the wrong word there. But either way, they say goodbye, and the ship moves out of the harbour and out to sea. It is quite a nice sea, and a nice boat. I'm worried about what lies ahead in our search of the Toronto's landing place. Hopefully no dangerous obstacles. Well, I think we did alright in our first criminal investigation. After all what's happened, I propose that we forget the formalities here on out. What do you think, Raina? And you, Drer? Sira? All agreed to forget the formalities, and so the formalities were forevermore forgotten. Let's move on. Hello, Scrin! We're not going to fight you. We could shoot you from the ship, but we're not going to. Goodbye, Scrin! We're going to see more Scrin in the next area. Don't worry, there's plenty more Scrin. It's potentially going to be a long boat journey. The passage lasts many days. During this time, Drer teaches everyone the language spoken by the humans on the next island. That's handy. So now everyone can speak Celtic. More time passes. At this point, if you... Oh, by the way, finally land reappears. At this point, if you hadn't given I think it's Argim? Not Akia, because Akia is dead. If you hadn't given Argim the music crystal, Drer will criticize you for that. And there is the new place that we're going to. Let's make a landfall. Finally, Tom and his companions feel solid ground under their feet again. They say goodbye to the crew and look around. Hello! At this point, I'm very surprised that nobody has approached Tom and co with spears and said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Let's have a conversation with Drer now. Would you like to chat, Tom? I'm interested in what you have done so far, Drer. Gladly, now that we've become friends. My roots are not only in Girona, but also in Belovano, a harbour city on, I think it's Maine, a land in the northeast. The city was founded by humans, but some Iskai lived there as well. My mother, a wonderful person, had a profession which is held in very poor regard by the Iskai of Girona, but which holds no such stigma in Belovano. She earned her living in a brothel. I'm sure you understand now why I don't regularly talk about my origin in Girona. Anyway, my mother met my father there, a trader and sailor, and followed him to his home city of Girona. I came into the world shortly thereafter. I grew up in a happy home with my parents. I learned 2 human languages from my mother, which is why the Styric of Girona consider me to be a specialist for cases which have to do with humans. My parents suffered from periodic attacks of an untreatable disease, which my mother had contracted in Belovano. I also had attacks of the disease during my childhood, but I became immune against it. My parents did not have such luck. My mother died from an attack when I was 9 years old. My father died of the disease a year later. I probably have to thank my father for my joining the Styric. Unlike me, to be honest, he was very much in control of himself, a property which we greatly admire. You know, shortly after my mother's death, I went too far one evening and my father had to get me out of the Styric's custody. It was a turning point in my life. When I saw how rapidly my father's health was deteriorating, I enrolled in the Styric and swore to go through the training. My father died shortly afterwards, but with pride of me on his face. I fulfilled my oath and have become a Styric. But Tom, my friend, I don't really want to spend the rest of my life as a Styric, and that's why I joined you. What do you have to say about fighter? I can handle most weapons, so I'm quite capable of protecting myself. I rarely try to avoid fights. Could we talk about your mother? Oh no, can't tell you anything about this. And can I type Belovano correctly? Nope, can't tell me anything about that either. Thank you for the conversation. See you, Tom. We're gonna go and... Look at that, Tom. I'm not very knowledgeable in history, but these huts look like Celtic round huts. Not only are there humans on this planet, but apparently there are even descendants of the Celts. That's completely impossible. As impossible as the strange phenomena that we have observed with the Iskai, the magic? Don't look at me like that. Someone had to say it. This planet obviously does not work like ours. It doesn't seem to be at all ashamed about it. Come on, let's be a little more pragmatic about this. When we have found the Toronto, we'll have enough time and means to get to the bottom of all the riddles this world has to offer. Maybe you're right. It's probably time I expand my outlook on natural science a little. I shouldn't resist learning something new. A proposal of pragmatism. I think we should speak with the village's chief. We will probably know if something big enough to be the Toronto has been seen around here. In the village, if the people here have something to do with the Celts, there must be a tribal king or something like that. If they haven't heard anything about your giant airship here, we can try and get to Maney, the large continent east of here. Indeed! Look at these creatures here. Let's talk to them. Oink! I don't really know what I was expecting there. That's a perfectly normal Earth pig. If people have somehow managed to get here, I guess it's not surprising that they brought their domestic animals with them. Indeed! Let's talk to this person here. It seems like somebody of significance. Hello. Toggy Din. Excuse me, but I'd rather not talk right now. My husband drowned recently, and I... Tears run down the young woman's face. Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's go and talk to some more people. Oh, there's a boat here. Can we travel back? I don't think we can. Examine. The water is very deep and the current appears to be strong. That's not quite what I was looking at, but never mind. Ah, hello. Let's talk to you. Toggy Din. Do you want to travel over the sea with my father? I would like him to take me along once. I think we may want to at some point. What do we have here? In large letters it reads here, Tharnos, King of Clouter. Well, let's talk to Tharnos, shall we? Seems important. Hello, you must be Tharnos. Toggy Din, travellers. I am the tribal king of Clouter. Toggy Din, Tharnos. We are searching for a giant metal ship which fell from the sky. Have you heard of such a thing? Ha ha ha, you crazy? Pardon me, but I haven't heard such nonsense in a long time. You ought to turn yourselves over to the druids of Arjano for treatment. Now, if that is so, we should travel over to Maney, the great island east of here, as fast as possible. Can you tell us if we can make such a sea journey from here, O Tharnos? So, you would like to leave Clouter again? Garrus the fisherman is an experienced sailor who could safely take you to Maney, but he, and therefore you, need my permission to do this. Now, naturally, I could grant you such approval, but there is a small matter you must handle for me. As strangers, you're better suited for it than someone from this area, since it requires great discretion. You would have to promise me to keep this quiet. This conversation, that is. This is what the situation is. We expect a king to have full mental, and especially physical powers, since otherwise he could bring misfortune to the, to Arth. Don't know that word, but probably, significant. To, like, maybe that's like the family or the tribe. Now, my wife and I have been wanting children for a long time. We and the weapon-bearing men are becoming impatient. Therefore, I would like to get an amulet from the druids in Arjano, which could reinforce my virility. I'm sure that you understand that I do not want to entrust this order to one of my men, or go to Arjano myself. Go to Barrow, the druid, and ask him for a strengthening amulet. Bring it to me, and I will grant your travels. This is a very, very sensitive mission. I don't know if you can talk about it with everyone. I'm pretty sure you can't. So we now have a mission. What's your profession? As I already told you, I'm the king of Clouter. What do you know about? We can ask about a Tuath. Let's ask about that. The Tuath, or tribe, I guess correctly, is the community of all clans and their families. It is governed by the tribal king. What do you know about the tribal king? I am the chief of the Tuath of Clouter and the most important man here. What I say happens. I told people to fly once. Ask me how well it went. How well did it go? Terribly. But they tried. What can you tell me about Clouter? Don't you know that's the name of the village in which you now stand? It has the same name as the river which runs next to it. Oh, that's some good information to know. Let's ask about the druids. The druids are our scholars. They know how to write, and they preserve and extend the knowledge of our forefathers. Their tasks are diverse. There are those who can administer justice or teach children, and those who act as intermediaries between the gods and the people. There are healers and masters of the magical arts among them. The centre of their school is Arjano, where the greatest druids live and teach. Well, what do you know about the gods? Oh, there are many gods, but the greatest is Lug, the great god of business, travellers and trade, and Danu, the great goddess and mother who is embodied by Albion, our world. And there, finally, is the name drop of the game. Quite a way in. In addition, there are the gods of farmers, craftsmen, poets, and warriors, as well as a number of minor gods honoured by their district's inhabitants. Concerning life and death, it is taught that we will live again in another wondrous land. Oh, wow, there's a lot of stuff to talk about here. What about warriors? Any man amongst us becomes a warrior when peace is broken. Presently, since we are at peace, we do not have many men who devote themselves exclusively to weaponry without having another profession. Alright, what about traders? There are many honourable craftsmen, such as potters, fabric weavers, or basket weavers. The weaponsmiths, who all belong to the Umajo, are special. Are they? The Umajo Guild is in a hot desert land far to the east of here. They guard the secret of getting ore from the womb of Danu without offending her. They produce jewelry and all kinds of weapons. They are the only ones allowed to produce these things. However, they do teach the art of producing weapons. Thus, all weaponsmiths are either from Umajo, or people from here who learn their craft from the Umajo, or one of its guild members and have since joined the guild. Long ago, there was a war with the Umajo. Since then, they have become more generous in their prices and in training the weaponsmiths, but they still persecute weaponsmiths who aren't members of the guild. So if you find a weaponsmith, who I imagine is a human, or maybe even the one in Girona as a member, let's talk about poets. We hold poets in high regard. They are even feared by powerful warriors, since a well-aimed satirical verse can damage a reputation as much as an inglorious defeat. Very true. Let's talk about Albion. That's what we call the world in which we live. Fair enough. What about Arjano? That's the name of the druid school here in Gratagel. It lies north of the village. Just follow the river Clouter upstream. I think we might have another word in Gratagel. That's the name of the land where we now stand. Thank you very much. What about Danu? We've already heard about that one. What about healers? You will find healing for your wounds in Arjano. And finally, magic. Magic is the art of the gods. It is performed by especially gifted druids, who are held in high regard and are considered blessed. I think we've gone through every single thing we can talk about. It's been nice talking to you. Farewell. There's nothing really we want to take from here. There is a item here that we can't open. Hello, let's talk to you. Togidin visitors. Unfortunately, I only have a little time for you. I'm preparing prayers for Danu. Why are you praying to her, Farina? It concerns a very private problem, which I do not wish to discuss. Fair enough. What's your profession? I am the wife of Thanos, the king of the Tuath. We could talk about various things. Let's talk about Thanos, shall we? Thanos is our tribal king. He's been alive and well for a long time. I think that's pretty much all we can really talk about with Farina. I think it's Farina. Yep, got that wrong. That we haven't already heard before. It's been nice talking to you. Farewell. And now I think it's time to go. For now, we need to go and check out what that other... Oh, let's talk to the guards first. Hello. The warrior looks at Tom grimly and says nothing. Fair enough. And if you give me one moment, I'll be right back. And we are back. Apologies for the interruption. Let us move on and talk to you. Hello. Togidin, travellers. Isn't it a beautiful day? It's quite nice. And let's talk to you. A small girl is running around exuberantly. She cries, Togidin, make way for the great warrior! Yee-haw! And you, indeed, are the great warrior. What do we have here? Bragona, food and provisions. I believe you sell, if we can go in. How do we go in? There we go, excellent. You sell food. Let's have a look around first. Hello, Togidin. Bragona is known for her non-perishable travelling provisions. Hint hint, you can buy them here. Talk it in, strangers. Hey, furries! Can you tolerate our food at all? No, my good man. We prefer to eat wise asses. Well played there, Dra. Well played. I always get something delicious to eat here with my grandma. Let's talk to you, shall we? Hello. Toggy din, hungry travellers. Can I offer you some of my outstanding provisions? What's your profession? I deal in fruits, bread, and meat. Let's talk about fruits. I recommend dried fruits for the journey. I have particularly good products from the famous fields of Albion. Where is Albion? Albion is a village south of the Great Mountain Range. Ah, let's talk about bread. Yes, outstanding non-perishable bread made here and in Vanilo. Let's talk about Vanilo. Vanilo is the village near Arjano. What about Arjano? Ah yes, that's the name of the Druid school here on Gratagel. It lies north of the village. Just follow the river Clouder upstream. It's been nice talking to you. Farewell! We need to explore this village a little more before we stop for the video. There's a few more buildings in which to go into, and a few more people to talk to. I think we might have talked to you. Yes, indeed, we talked to you. Let's talk to you, though. We haven't spoken to you yet. Hey, there we go. Tugged in. Visitors from foreign countries again. How exciting. Again? Let's go in here. Ah, that is, oh, that is a way in. Hello, how are you? Tugged in, visitors. What is your profession? I'm a warrior for Thanos, and I have no other profession. Let's talk about warrior. Any man amongst us becomes a warrior, I've already heard this. Although you appear only to be a warrior. Well, most weapon-bearing men are also craftsmen or even poets. I, on the other hand, am proud of the fact that I serve my king with weapons only. Fair enough. Farewell. And let's talk to the other person here. Hello. Tugged in, strangers. I believe my husband has more time for a chat than I do, so you'll have to excuse me. And let's talk to the person down here. Hello. Tugged in. You're visitors from distant countries, right? And you want to talk to me? Oh, by the gods! This is the first time I've ever seen a furry, Iskai, with my own eyes. You're so big! What's your profession? I still go to school. My father doesn't have a lot of relatives, so I didn't have to go to a foster family. What's this about foster care? Well, I wouldn't like having to leave my parents, but then I would have had a second family. But really, I just like it the way it is. Oh? Let's talk about school. Yes, a druid comes from Arjano and teaches the children. Sometimes it's boring, but sometimes he tells really great stories. He sells really great stories. No, he doesn't. Let's talk about your father. My father is one of the best warriors in the village, and he serves our king. Okay, what about Iskai? I've heard a lot about them. Some of us belittle them, but others fear and respect them for their warrior skills. You're right to do so, considering Drer is here. It's been nice talking to you. Farewell. And I believe when we come back, folks, oh no, have we been in that building yet? We might have been. Oh, there's that guy there. Hello! Just want to talk to you, sir. Toggy din, strangers. What can a simple sailor do for you? Toggy din, Garrus. We're looking for passage to Mani, the lands of the east. Naturally. The price for crossing is 200 gold pieces. Of course, every traveller needs permission from Thanos. Speak to him about your sea voyage. You'll find him in his house in the middle of the village. We still don't have Thanos' permission. Speak with Thanos. For a small favour, he will certainly give you permission. And now he is moonwalking over to the water, but we're going to talk to him a bit more. What's your profession? I'm a fisherman and sailor. Let's talk about sailor. I can proudly say that I've never lost a passenger, and I'm the best fisherman in the village. I'm also the only fisherman in the village. I make sure of it. Do you have Thanos' permission for your journey? No, we don't. Farewell. And off he goes into his boat. Goodbye. We'll see you later. Maybe. And when we come back, folks, we're going to go and do a little bit of exploration. Over here. Over in this area. There appears to be a lot less jungle here and just more open plains, which is pretty good, but on the other hand, it means that we might find more enemies. After all, they won't be hiding in the jungle. So I'll catch you next time, folks. And I'll see you then. Later.